welcome to another episode of Disqualified. I'm Trevin, joined as always by Caleb.
Hola!
And Zach, our double predictions champion, and our little producer is, as always, behind the camera.
The belts got stolen! By Gordon.
Yeah, during our little cabin trip packing kerfuffle, some luggage got mixed up.
Yeah. Oh.
It's been a day for you, but now it's
It's
time.
been a long day for me.
Yeah, it's time to talk about...
Monday Night Raw!
Yeah, it was a show.
Yeah, it was a show. It was a show for sure.
Another very promo-heavy episode of Raw, I feel like. Well, there was some action, but felt like... I don't know what to call this episode, honestly, because, like, the action was there, but
well, how many matches did last week's have?
3.
This has 5.
Yeah. But it's like the memorable spots, as what usually happens with Raw, are in the promos. Which is funky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you had more matches, but I remember more about the promos than the matches. Like, I almost completely forgot about a match that's on our reminder board here. And we'll get to that match later. But first...
Is it our second match of the night?
Or
is it our third match of the night?
It's the match we had before our main event.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But we open with, of course, the new rulers of Monday Night. Our new faction of Seth, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. Basically opening up the show, reestablishing that they not only own Raw, but are the #1 guys in this entire industry.
Seth says the future of the business runs through him.
And he gets interrupted by none other than a man who sees Seth as a friend, and vice versa, a good old Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Sami Zayn comes out and he says, look, all this is just bullcrap.
Yep.
So all of it is just a facade.
Yep.
None of this is real.
Yep.
He's like, I used to think that you were so virtuous, that you had genuine hate for CM Punk, and you genuinely did not like how Roman was handling things. But I see you were just jealous.
Yep. You're a hypocrite because you're doing the exact same things they did.
Mm-hmm. He said, you got the wise man, and you got your little dog.
Yep. And then he says, and if your dog keeps staring at me, I'm going to drop him.
He says, and if he keeps staring at me, I'm going to kick your face in.
Yep.
And Gordon said, yeah, I forgot they'd be having them say that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they really do have them say, I'm going to kick your face in, pal.
Yep. But Seth, because Braun's looking for a fight. He's like, let's run it back. Because remember, I won the last trilogy we had.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, you want to run it back? But Seth holds him back and is like, Sami, I see you as a friend. Our kids played together. You know, we became parents at around the same time. It's like, you are one of the few friends I have in this business. So I'm giving you a way out. You got a couple options. It's either you become okay with me running things around here, or Paul Heyman here pulls some strings and gets you traded to SmackDown so you don't have to deal with us anymore. And if you don't like either of those options...
we could do things the hard way.
Yeah, there will be consequences. And he says, you have till the end of the night to pick your option.
Yep. I think this would have been more beneficial if The Rock did this to Cody.
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm giving you till Chamber.
Yeah.
Give me the answer tonight.
Yeah.
But that's a...
Yeah, because this was a lingering thought during this episode. Because we see Sami talk with Jay later on because, one thing that the highlights on the website didn't cover that I'll just bum rush into now is that we're getting your annual Logan Paul world title attempt this year against none other than Jey Uso. It was somewhere on this card.
I think it's after Rhea and Roxanne.
Yeah.
Immediately, I am signing off for this feud. You have fun covering this feud. I will just provide, yep.
I don't even want to cover it because I hate Logan Paul.
But it's your favorite guy. It's his first title feud. You should be excited.
No! Because, again, the internet has called it this before. Annually, Logan Paul gets a world title shot that no one gives an F about. The thing is, it's usually at Saudi shows, so we have a reason to not get an F about it. But apparently, it is neither confirmed whether this is happening at Backlash, on an episode of Raw, or at Saturday Night Main Event. They're just like, yeah, we're getting this out of the way now.
Come on, Trevin. It's his first title program.
I don't give it F.
They really fumbled the bag.
Yes, it's like you had...
Already, title reign, Dookie, booty. Not off to a good start.
Yeah. It's not Jay's fault, though, but you had a golden opportunity.
Jay was the better part of this segment for me.
Yeah.
Jay was the better part. Jay comes out after Logan calls him out.
Yep.
And he comes out and he says, look, we're not doing this. I don't have time for this. I'm not going to be beat by some punk-ass YouTuber.
Yep. And then...
He said, if you want this title, you come take it.
Yep. And Logan goes for a rebuttal, puts the mic to his mouth, and Jay super kicks it right into his mouth. Yep. Like, that man legit ate his mic.
Took his sunglasses off with the impact.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, Jay just elevated his favoritism for me because that man deserved that.
Yeah.
Kick his teeth in.
I'm already kind of iffy on Jay as champ because while I was glad that he finally got to where I thought he needed to be character-wise to be champion, going right back to what made you the thing that I kind of disliked for the first promo. And while I did like the promo, it very much ended with yeet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're keeping yeet around.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were getting rid of it, but I thought it was going to be toned down somewhat.
Yeah.
But then you also have Logan Paul entering the equation. And why? Why?
We were chill with these world title pictures happening on them Saudi shows. Because we knew that means we could turn our brain off, not give an F, and get a couple cool Logan Paul doing flippy flips.
Now, here's my question. Who leads the match? Is it Logan?
No.
I think Logan might lead the match. Like, in terms of, like, who's calling spots, I think, who's going to call spots?
I feel like...
Jay's going to call the spots?
I mean,
I know the ref runs the match.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, the superstars will do what they want to do.
Yeah. I feel like it's probably gonna be a collaboration, but I feel like the head caller's still gonna be Jay because of how much of a veteran he is.
I feel like Jay's nice enough to get the new kid to give him some spots.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna give Logan spots. That's the thing in wrestling. Everyone gets their spots.
Yeah.
And Logan, I guess for the good majority of it, he usually loses most of his matches that I've at least seen.
He has a very Logan, despite the big talk, definitely has a losing record.
Yeah, so he's okay with giving losses. Like, he's gonna lose. Unless they do some fuck-ass shit.
If they transitionalize Jay's run again and to Logan Paul ever, I will legit not care about this title picture anymore.
Someone that I thought should be in the title picture that's not, and he literally only got 30 seconds of screen time, is Carrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carrion only got 30 seconds of screen
Yep,
time.
because he was another
talking...
person that got visited to Sami when Sami was still in his thinking process.
Yeah, but this is right before he comes out at the end of the night. In the middle of the show, we see Paul Heyman talk with Sami Zayn in the locker room.
Yep, and Paul Heyman says that, listen, I've already got the trade lined up. All you have to do is say the word. You get traded to SmackDown, and your first match on SmackDown is going to be the winner of John Cena and Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I've got this all lined up for you because I know how much Seth cares about you, and you know how much I care about you. I mean, we're both OG bloodline. We need to care about each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you some time to let that offer settle in, and just know that we got you.
And then Heyman walks out, and we see the guard dog is there.
Yep, he's just like, you say the word and I'll spear him into oblivion.
Yes, but now we move away from Sami and all this drama until the end of the show. Now we move on to Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez, who has seemingly been called up to Raw.
Yes, along with the person who helped influence the result of this match, which only leads to more confusion. But this match was honestly pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it was a great way to open the show. I did not think it was going to be the opener, but hey.
Yeah, I thought maybe tag match or something else would have opened the show, but this did. Knocked it out the park.
Yes.
Phenomenal match between these two.
Roxanne showing that she knows the business and attacks Rhea's left leg. Rhea sells it a lot, and they start trading finishers, countering until Rhea looks like she's going for a riptide, but an already at ringside Julia attacks the damaged leg and causes the DQ.
Why are Roxanne and Julia teaming up?
Yes.
I don't get it.
I swear we missed a social media vignette or something.
It feels like we missed an episode. It feels like there's lost media.
Yeah.
like
found footage.
Like they filmed an episode and then they just forgot to put that episode up.
Yeah. Is there like a little story thing that happened at a house show that didn't get released to the public? Like, what's going on? But that's the other person we mentioned is probably getting called up to Raw, as, some people zoomed in on both their gears and outfits, and especially on Roxanne's, and she's already got Raw logos on her gear.
Oh, that was last week.
Oh, yeah.
The screenshot of her boot saying Raw debut was last week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, seemingly they're both called up. So
unofficially. I mean, we got a Fraxium pre-draft call-up, so I guess this is all right. 2 for 2.
But it seems like put both of these women, who are great elevators of talent, in the tag division, kind of stupid.
Yeah.
It's not kind of stupid. It's really fucking stupid.
Because another thing about this, subtle call-up pre-draft also is that Julia technically is still in the title picture. And according to sources, another person who's getting called up is the holder of the title, but we'll actually see her later tonight, and we can...
But first we have to cut backstage to everyone's favorite place, the Judgment Day Clubhouse.
Yes. A little tip, a little other thing before we completely move on. Roxanne and Julia try to brawl Rhea. Io provides the assist. Looks like she's about to take it out, but Io gave Rhea just enough time to recover and scare damn little girls out of the ring.
So seemingly we're getting a 2v2, maybe somewhere down the line.
Maybe.
But next we move to the Judgment Day Clubhouse, and we see in the background, first of all, before we talk about anything, they're playing 2K25.
Yep.
Carlito is playing as Dominic, not himself, but Dominic, fighting and whipping Triple H.
Who is being played by Dominic.
I don't think he's being played by anyone.
Oh.
Carlito and Dom both had controllers.
They did, yeah.
I didn't see. Why is... Unless Dom was Dom and
I think
Carlito-
Dom was Dom and Carlito was Triple H.
Then why not...
Carlito's always losing when they're playing.
No, the thing is, why not have them on the side that they're... You know? Okay.
We didn't see the full footage.
But Finn comes in. He welcomes back JD.
Yep, and he's like, you could have told me that you were returning. And he's like, listen, I texted Dom and Liv, and I thought the message would get back to you.
Yeah, and then he goes on to say, well, Liv got us the tag title opportunity.
Yep, basically saying that he talked with Aldis, and they have a #1 contendership match against the War Raiders tonight.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I thought... Finn was like, well, how come I didn't know? He's like, I thought Liv was supposed to tell you.
Yep.
And here comes Liv.
Yep. She basically explains, like, we've all been so busy with our titles, and we are trying to get you titles back so the Judgment Day can all have gold again. And it's just, I immediately turned to Campbell and was like, that implosion's coming. Probably going to happen at SummerSlam again like it did last year, but...
I don't know. I thought it was going to happen at Mania with Dom pinning Finn. I thought Finn might have tried to cost Dom the match against Penta the next night. But this is not the last we'll see of Liv and Raquel and Dom. While they're not in action, we do... Actually, we'll just cut to it.
Yeah.
Before the match.
Yep. Basically, Liv says, I'm going to need some... time off because I am contractually obliged to go on a Hollywood set, and it's like, well, see ya women's tag title matches.
Yeah.
And then Dom asks for time off because he's like, I'm IC champ, I deserve a break, and AJ Styles is in that very segment along with Nick Aldis, but Nick Aldis is like, listen, I'm gonna say this as nicely as I can. Nope.
Yeah, he's like, when you become champion,
your workload doubles.
So no.
So expect a match very soon. And AJ is like, how soon?
Yep. So yeah, next week is supposed to be a big week, reportedly, for Liv Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, this is when this movie is getting not premiered but announced.
Yeah.
It's not Marvel.
No.
They said it's more of like a drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she will be gone.
Yep.
For the foreseeable future.
Whether that means that the titles just won't be defended, or they're gonna...
They should have dropped them to Chemical X.
Yeah.
Or they should have hot potatoed them twice.
Yeah. So basically that either means these tag titles are going on hiatus, getting relinquished, or they're dropping them in the near future.
If this ends up with them getting relinquished, I'd like to see a tag title tournament.
Yeah. Have a rep from each brand especially.
I'd say do... Because I don't even know how many tag teams there are in NXT fully. But like...
I mean, we have Chemical X.
4 people bracket
Saruka,
for each brand, and it leads to a triple threat match for the titles.
Meta Girls are still technically also NXT.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But moving on to the men's tag side of things, we get the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day.
And this...
for seemingly #1 contendership.
Yep. And New Day are sitting on commentary, assisting, and this is where I will say this was nigh a 4-star or 5-star match, ruined by too many intervening story threads.
Yeah, so we had the New Day on commentary, and like Trevin pointed out, it feels like even commentary doesn't like their shtick.
No, yeah. Michael Cole and Pat, you could tell they were a little annoyed with the whole shtick. I'm not even sure the New Day knows how to be heel, because Xavier Woods just pulled out, fat shaming the members of War Raiders. And it's like, you see, this ain't even interesting because I don't care about the New Day stuff, and I'm on the Netflix side of the audience. The live audience ain't paying attention to this at all because they can't hear them.
Yeah.
They're cheering for what's happening in the match.
They're only for us.
Yes. Which is like,
What a miserable experience.
Yes. I don't give a frick about this. Yes, but it's like, they have fumbled this New Day heel turn so hard.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, I don't care.
If what I think is happening, we might get someone saving these titles soon. Or not soon. Trust me, it's going to be a few months. But I think I know the people that might take it off of them because we see one of the members assist and cost the Judgment Day the win.
Yep.
And who is that, Trevin June?
None other than Zero Miedo Penta attacks JD, getting his receipts from costing him last week, and hands the War Raiders the win.
Yep. So the War Raiders are seemingly in contendership for the titles.
Yep, seemingly number one contenders.
Do we see the Raiders take them back?
God, I hope so.
It's not about what you hope so, it's do you think we see it happen?
I mean, sadly, probably not, but I just don't want this New Day gimmick on my screen anymore.
Yeah,
It is old, it is tiring, and it ain't working. Literally, they went from getting booed off stage to no reactions at all. Surprisingly, when I think it was Ivar, it might have been Eric, chucked, I think it was Finn,
Finn,
onto the New Day, there wasn't much of a crowd reaction. They're just like, that's a cool spot, sucks that the New Day's involved.
Yeah, so it is.
How do we go
after the match?
Yeah, how do we go from 10 years of the crowd loving these homies to dead silence?
Well, okay. I think it's the way they went about it. Because they started off as heels. They were supposed to be faces. People just hated them. They weren't getting over, so they were just like, we'll turn them heel. Which was one of the last, I think, good decisions Vince McMahon has made. By just saying, you know what, we're just going to turn them heel. Because they're not getting reactions. So they turn them heel. And then they start naturally getting over with the fans. They become ultra baby faces. I'd say for about 9 years of the run.
Mm-hmm.
They were pretty much faces.
Yep.
Now you get to the split when it very much seemed, okay, the New Day has run its course.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna become all solo stars now.
But nope, instead of that happening and getting a kick-ass Kofi versus Xavier feud, we are getting heel New Day kicking out Big E, taking on Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones getting released.
Because of things.
I mean, Odyssey Jones happened before kicking out Big E, but pretty much they replaced Big E then too. Kicked out Big E officially. And now we have this. They haven't given them any substantial story, really. And I think that's another part of the reason why it's stale. They haven't given them a story other than, we kicked out Big E.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You're still on page 1. You're still on step 1 of the heel turn. Turn heel. Step 2. Make interesting story happen.
Yes. And this ain't it.
No, because you haven't made any story happen.
Yes.
They just won the title
is that
in a very shitty match.
This heel turn, literally, they dangled in front of us of just like, New Day's just gonna break up.
It's gonna be Xavier turning on him.
Yeah, because Xavier looked like he was the only one that never got singles gold, so he's like, I want it, and if that means getting rid of y'all, so be it. But nah, instead they kick out Big E and re-enter the tag circuit, and people are like, the F, why?
Yeah. But so after the match, we see Penta backstage, and he's talking to
Aldis.
Yeah, he's talking to Aldis.
Yeah.
Aldis is like, look, we can't exactly have you do that.
Yep.
Come out and interfere with
but
the
he's
match.
like, but it was a receipt for last week, so I'm gonna let you off with a warning.
Mm-hmm.
And I've texted Pierce, and it's official.
But he's standing general manager.
Oh,
Whatever he says goes tonight.
Yep,
So he says, look, I can see there's animosity. Next week, you and JD.
Yep. And Penta's like, thank you, and he seems happy, all giddy, and then he turns around to see who's behind him, and it's none other than American Maids, Chad Gable, and Ivy Nile.
Oh, wait, real quick, before I forget, Carlito's comment was, everyone's champions. I feel like I should be a champion.
And it's like, Carlito, what title picture would you enter?
I'm saying the U.S.
The Divas title. Give him the Divas title.
The $1 million title.
No, give him the Divas title.
No, I made the joke of what if he, like, does some trash digging and just re-pops out with the 24/7?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of a hilarious spot. But it would have to be at the cost of a match being really, really, really bad because of one person's appearance in it. Travis Scott's at the side of Cena v. someone.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Carlito sneaks up behind him with the referee. Rolls him up 1, 2, 3. Because the Hardcore Championship was 24/7.
Yeah.
It can happen anywhere, anytime, as long as a referee was there to count the pin.
Yep.
And this is how you reintroduce the Hardcore belt.
Yep.
Just my thought. I think that's just a funny thing. But yeah, so Chad Gable is talking to Penta, and he's like, look, it's such a shame what happened to your brother, how he fumbled the bag at Mania.
Yep, against none other than the greatest luchador, El Grande Americano, and I'm like, can we just end this gimmick?
And the gimmick didn't get ended, but the talking got ended via Penta kicking Gable in the gut.
Yep.
And calling... He said, pendejo. He called him a dumbass twice, which I love.
Yep. And then, he says, like, when it comes to the Lucha Bros, when it comes to me and my brother, we will show zero fear or zero miedo and knock anyone's teeth in.
Pendejo in left.
Yep.
But I think that might be the team that takes the titles off the New Day.
That will mean a Ray Phoenix traded to Raw.
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, though. They said that right now they both have the star potential to make it as single stars for a little bit and then converge. I just don't know when they want to do that convergence.
Yes. Because the thing is...
Raw, your tag division
sucks.
You're getting your ass beat.
Yes.
Fight back. Get some tag teams.
Yes. Literally, you had to hear the reviews from Mania as well. Like, people don't care about the New Day. The War Raiders are all right, but they're stuck in mid-card level stories. People are sick of the Judgment Day and are just waiting for that implosion. So that means that your only two legit tag teams that people want on their screens right now are the War Raiders and, funnily enough, Alpha Academy.
Yeah, so you have Alpha Academy, you have the Creed brothers, which they're good.
Yeah.
But they don't use them, they are just cannon fodder.
Yeah, they're cannon fodder and people don't want them on their screen because that just means more El Grande Americano stuff. Because people want that gimmick to end also.
And then you have LWO, who is good, but they just don't get booked.
No.
So, like, you have a solid tag team division, I guess, but I'm sorry. I'm never going to buy Alpha Academy as credible contenders. I just don't think I can ever get behind Otis being a credible threat. He looks like a credible threat. Like, I know he could break me in half, but I look at him and I'm not scared. I just don't see it. Tozawa, I think he would suit much better in NXT as a solo act because he can still very much go.
Yeah.
And he would be a great hand down in NXT to give those high flyers and those smaller guys some much needed practice.
I mean, hey, you you do it in your universe mode on the video game. You reintroduce the cruiserweight division, and that's where Tozawa would probably shine.
Yeah, I mean, they gave him the cruiserweight title when it was around for 6 days, and then they gave it back to the dude who had it before. And I'm like, why? This man is a legit demon. Let him shine. But
It's
yeah.
like both Otis and Tozawa are could be contender potential. Like, people love them, and they are fighters. Like, their in-ring work is super cool. It's just, Caleb, you've expressed this opinion. The comedy gimmick is what brings them down.
It's the comedy gimmick. There's never been. I mean, Judgment Day has been very comical. The New Day, comical. The Usos had their moments, even when they were heels, as being comical. Not saying that it is the main, it is the reason why it's stopping them, but a lot of the times, comedy is what gets you to the dance. You need to dance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, comedy can help you land the date for the dance, but when you get there, you need to be able to, participate. And I think the in-ring work it's just not clicking. Like, they're good, they can go, it's not clicking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is with the gimmick. People like it. Like, it works, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's the thing also, is that what's funnily enough is that, like, 18 months ago, a year and a half ago, when I was returning to watching Raw live before I moved to Netflix weekly, like before WrestleMania 40, even before the Rumble even, one of the big Raw fill in the time rivalries was Ivar, because Eric was injured, and Valhalla against Alpha Academy, with Chad Gable still being the leader at the time. And I loved that feud. It was a good feud, and I'm like, I hope to see every member of this thing on some mid-card level thing. And then we got the Chad Gable push and heel turn, and I'm like, you know what? I'm here for it. They got me to recognize his name. He was on my screen. I got it. When Ivar returned with Eric, I'm like, heck yeah. But they haven't done anything with the other three.
No, they haven't. And that's not saying that they haven't improved. I mean, Maxine has definitely improved in ring from when you actually see her get in there, from when she started.
And she's doing amazing
improvement.
Yep, and she's doing amazing managerial mic work.
But it's just, the gimmick is just, it works, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very mid-card comedy gimmick that is, your ceiling is, you're there popularity-wise, but you're never going to be a credible threat, and you're never going to win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Now, moving on to someone who has held a lot of titles.
Yep.
And that is one, Becky Lynch. So, her reasoning for showing up at Mania, winning the match, losing the match the next night on Raw, and turning on Lyra was to get back at Bayley.
Yep. And she announces that she was the one who attacked Bayley.
Yep. And
it's like,
she's like, don't act like I'm the bad guy. For 9 years, 6 years, she can beat me up.
Yep. And then I retaliate a little bit and win a title she had a shot at.
And now I'm the bad guy? Yep. And so she then goes on to say, and now that brings us to Lyra.
Yep, and
she's the reason why.
Yep, she's like, the reason why I attacked her is because I gave her the opportunity of a lifetime. I gave her a chance to not only be double champ, and also to leave the baggage of that idiot Bayley. And not even 24 hours later, she fumbles the bag.
Yep. And so now, here comes Lyra. Bird Lady herself.
Yep.
Woo!
And she basically comes out a little emotional, being like, there were a lot of women that people warned me about once I entered the main roster locker room. And I was surprised that one of the names that kept getting brought up was yours.
Yeah, and
I looked up to you, and I got caught in the dream of, Irish tag team champs. But now I realized that they were right.
Yeah, so Becky then leaves the ring after running.
Yep.
And Lyra says, look, I know you're just scared because of what happened last time we went one-on-one, referencing when she beat Becky for the NXT Women's Championship. And so we get a little bit of a brawl.
Yep.
And Becky runs away. Lyra stands tall on the barricade, walks up to the top of the ramp, gets blindsided by a returning Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, before this ending brawl, Lyra did say like, "Listen, I get that. I get how you are, and this scuffle will never happen unless I put something on the line. I'll put my championship online. Let's do this." And Becky's like, "Nah, these people don't deserve that big of a match. This is happening at Backlash."
Yep. So at Backlash, your Women's Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Becky Lynch facing your Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria.
Yep. We knew this match was going to happen eventually. As soon as Lyra won it, we knew that this was a match on
This
the
was
docket.
I think this is unfortunately the end goal. I think we see Becky take it.
I'm a 50-50 on it. I'm going to see how the lead-up promos go before we do our official prediction video. But I'm 50-50, especially because of the conversation we had last Raw episode about Liv potentially taking it.
With Liv leaving...
Correct. Never mind.
Yeah, with Liv leaving, there's really no reason for
Blindside. Yeah.
So...
Yeah. And the other person in contention for taking it off Lyra, who has tried twice and won at the inaugural match and won in a little let's run it back scuffle, Dakota Kai, has not been on TV since that match.
Yeah, so it seems like the women's mid-card division for both brands consists of 3 people. So for Raw, you have Lyra, Ivy Nile, and Dakota Kai.
Yep.
Now Becky Lynch. So 4. And for SmackDown, you have Chelsea Green, Zelina Vega, and Nietzsche. Maybe B-Fab.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why 4 people in a division? I wouldn't even call that a division. I'd call that a little club.
Yeah.
But, speaking of Ivy Nile,
Yep.
who was your opponent tonight, Trevor?
Yep. We saw that Chad Gable basically reestablished that she wants Ivy Nile back in the IC title picture, and he scheduled her a match to make a statement, but he effed up as her opponent is none other than your NXT Women's Champion,
Stephanie Becker!
La Primera, and another person who insider reports are saying is going to get a surprise call-up to Raw soon. Which is what I'm confused on, as I mentioned...
Raw's gonna be stacked.
Yeah. As I mentioned, Julia is currently in the title picture for the NXT Women's Champion, but they can figure that stuff out before the draft. Stephanie's legit your champion.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time before the draft to get that figured out. Unless you call her up with the title, which would lead to a bunch of different kerfuffles.
NXT's women's roster is very, very stacked.
Yes.
But the main reason why it's very, very stacked is because it's very, very bloated.
Yes.
So, you need to get rid of some of the bloat. You move 3 people up. But those 3 people are then going to bloat the Raw Women's Division because it seems like you have no plans for them to go to SmackDown.
Nope.
Which I think it would make sense, at least for this. And here's my thing. You move Julia and Roxanne up to Raw.
Yep.
You then move Stephanie to SmackDown. And then, to clear some of the bloat from Raw, SmackDown gets Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
To clear some of that top-end heavy bloat.
Yes. We are also complaining about the mid-card divisions for the women's. These call-ups are going to stack up that division.
Oh no, these call-ups are going to stack up the I mean, yeah, in a way, they're gonna stack up the main card,
Yeah.
the main roster card, and then everyone else will fall into the mid card. Everyone else that's getting pushed down will fall into the mid card.
Yeah.
So people like Alexa is getting moved down for SmackDown, probably. Kiana James is definitely going to be in the mid card now when she returns. Maxine's staying mid card. Natalia, if she was sniffing it, now sniffing back down. Bailey's probably back down as well. But we get this match. It's a great match.
Yeah.
Of course, Ivy Nile is one of the best workers on the main roster,
Yep.
in ring wise, and
Very
of course you have Vaquer.
Yeah, very entertaining tactician. Ivy Nile is just just another thing of like another Zoe Stark case. In-ring work, very fun to watch. Mic and character work, something to be desired.
It's kind of the thing with the Creeds and Nile. They're just still kind of the Diamond Mine, but with a different name.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was their group down in NXT, and they got called up, and they were still together, and then they were still the Diamond Mine, and then Gable got his hands on them.
Yep.
And then they became the
American Made.
American Made.
Yeah. But to no one's surprise,
Stephanie wins the match.
yep.
I thought we see a second return from Julia to attack, but no.
No, just clean match, clean celebration.
Vaquer walks up the ramp holding the belt, and I'm like, oh, here comes the attack.
No, cut to commercial.
And now, coming back from commercial, we get, surprisingly, one of the better promos of the night.
Yep.
Pat McAfee gets a live mic,
Yep, takes
cuts
his.
a very impassioned promo,
Yep, dropping 2 F-bombs.
saying motherfucker too.
Yep.
Noting all the charities and things that he's donated to.
Yep, and basically saying, like, I'm a loyal guy.
Mm-hmm.
When I see a friend in danger, my instincts just take over and I try to help him out. Sometimes that gets me in trouble.
Yeah, so he talks about how Gunther put him in the choke, and Nick Aldis comes out,
Yep.
and he says, look, this is more of like a thing that we should have in the back, but, he's suspended, so you don't have to worry.
Yep.
But keep it professional, and he's like, I don't think he should be suspended. I think it's stupid that he's suspended.
Yep.
I want a match with him.
Yep. And Nick Aldis is like, listen, I'm going to have to take it up with the higher-ups because there's a man suspended in this conversation. But here's what I can advertise if the higher-ups agree to it. Because we can't unsuspend him immediately. You're not going to get him. But if we're able to clear it, the earliest we can do it is Pat McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash. Not Saturday Night Main Event like we thought.
Unfortunate.
Gunther's last 2 opponents are going to be Jey Uso and Pat McAfee.
This Get Humbled arc is going
Who's
to
the
be...
third? Michael Cole? Is this like a humiliation ritual for him? What are they doing with Gunther?
They humbling that man.
Yeah, that's happening at Backlash. Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
It was a good promo, but I am not excited for this
Yeah,
match.
you...
Sami Zayn.
Yeah. You thought this... You said yourself this screamed a Saturday Night's Main Event match. Which is like...
This is New Day War Raiders on the Mania Night 1 levels of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be on this card. Could fit on a regular Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Or Saturday Night's Main Event if you're feeling spicy.
Yeah. But if you look at the name of the PLE it's on, thematically kind of makes sense. It's the Backlash of Mania. Gunther's crashing out, and it costed him this.
Then why is he not crashing out at Jay? Or is he scared now?
I mean, we saw I mean, we saw his emotional attitude change after he lost to Cody.
Yeah, but Sami Zayn, here we go. Sami Zayn, please save us. Please save us.
Yep, so Seth comes out first and is like, listen, we're at that point in the night. It's time for an answer. My friend, and hopefully ally, Sami Zayn, come on out.
Yep, and Sami Zayn comes on down.
Yep, still wearing, backstage clothes, not ring gear, which will be important for what happens in this segment later.
Spoilers, Trevin.
Sorry.
But
Yep.
Sami says, you know what? Screw you.
Yep. Go to hell.
Go to hell.
Yep, he's like, I said what I said, and I think I'm still right. You've gone in over your head. You're jealous. You're hypocritical. And if you were truly my friend, you would know I stand up against the bad guy.
Yep, and this leads to a match between him and Braun Breaker, impromptu.
Yep.
Here comes Breaker with Heyman behind him.
In his singlet.
They said, someone on Twitter said they look like two angry honey hams.
Yeah, but Sami doesn't get time to change, as the only thing he's allowed to do is take off his button-off shirt, not even wrap his hands, and fight.
It's not really a fight. It's more of a murder.
Yep.
There's a bit of competitiveness until the end where Sami gets speared 4 times in a row.
Yep. And Seth, during the entire match and on the spearing, except for the 4th spear, is sitting there silently. Just
very Messiah-like.
Yes, just emotionally destroyed that he has lost yet another friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally breaks his silence and his straight-facedness when he signals for the 4th spear. And then as security try to separate Braun, he's like, listen, Braun, that's enough from you, but look at what you did. We don't automatically get respect. We have a lot of enemies now. We gotta earn their respect. And this is one way how.
No, he said, there are some people that just don't agree with our views.
Yep.
And what we have to do to them is exactly what I'm about to do. Watch. Stop! Put Sami Zayn down like a dog. Trevin did say a very funny thing. He said, well, there goes Sami, because if he comes back from 4 spears and a stomp, he is Superman.
Yep, he's like, he returned last week just to get ridden off again the week after.
Sami, thanks for coming. Honestly, Sami was the MVP of this episode. This whole episode revolved around Sami, and someone said on Twitter, this is very much the start of Sami Zayn winning the Rumble.
Yes. People have been wanting it for years. The Rumble is already confirmed to take place in Riyadh. Sami is a huge Muslim rep for WWE, so
fuck it.
All signs point to Sami 2026 Rumble winner.
For the time being.
For the time being.
Yeah, unless someone makes a big return. Oh, we did see Rusev. He is very much going with the Redeemer gimmick from AEW.
Yep.
He said, I was all these things that I wasn't.
And then
I redeemed myself.
I spent some time in the abyss.
Ayo! 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 He said, before I went back to Bulgaria, I spent some time in the abyss. He was written off of TV for a while, leaving AEW. So, does this mean before he went to Bulgaria, before he went to AEW, or after he was in AEW? Because if we're calling AEW the Abyss now, what the fuck? I get there's your competition, but the Abyss?
It was before he went to AEW.
I don't.
Not A&W.
I don't really know. I don't really know, because this is AEW.
Yes. I mean, they did try to save themselves by him saying later in the vignette, like, I will show you what I saw in the abyss. I will forgive and redeem you all.
Yep. And that does not end the show. The Sami stuff ends the show,
Yes.
but that was in the middle of the show. But yeah, this ends our discussion of Monday Night Raw. Bit of a longer one, I'm suspecting, because I haven't seen the time, but I know that we were ranting.
Yeah, because...
Especially about the tag division.
Yeah. A little bit about the mid-card too, but...
Yeah, but we shall see you next time. This has been Caleb. That's Trevin. That's our Double Predictions champ behind the camera. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. And we will see you next time. Thank you for your time. Peace.
Bye!